Okay friends, I am Professor Karan Sheth and I am chartered accountant by profession, and I have to tell you that the discussion that we are going to have here is with respect to the recent RTP that has been published for May 20 attempt, my dear friends. Yes, so all those people who are appearing for the first time on May 20 and people who could not clear the November 19 attempt but are heading up and I am sure gearing up with full force for the May 20 attempt, this discussion is truly relevant for them. And November 19 students who couldn't make it, just remember one thing, that a bend of the road is not the end of the road. There are always roller coasters in a life of CA journey, because remember, CA itself is not a destination, it's a journey, and you will learn a lot of things when you become one. Yes, so on this positive note, let me, my dear friends, directly head towards the discussion with respect to RTP. So here, my dear friends, a very well drafted RTP has been made for May 20. So friends, the discussion that I am going to have now is on a very beautiful sum that IC has actually drafted, because they have actually tried to encapsulate a lot of concept in this beautiful question. So let's hear it and let's try and understand the nitty-gritties of it. So here, my dear friends, let's, for example, the first case, let's read it. Let's read it fast. Mr. Mandeep, a registered dealer, is doing building material business in the state of Assam. He first procures architect service from his friend in London, then he procures some designing service from his brother, who is based in also London, for 5 lakh rupees for his personal purpose. Then what happens is that he avails services which are liable to tax under RCM, for which date of invoice is 1/9, payment date as per his books of accounts is 15/11, and that as per his bank account is 18/11. I hope you are understanding why this data is actually given. Obviously they can be asking a question related to time of supply. Then you have turnover details, turnover of the current financial year, taxable supplies of goods 55 lakhs, exempt supply of goods 16 lakhs, inward supplies 8 lakhs where tax is payable as per RCM. He intends to provide services from the next financial year and also avail composition scheme. He also wishes to make supplies to government. Are you getting it? Yes. So now always remember, whenever such big questions are given in your MCQ part, don't just keep on reading the entire question. No. So for example, the first paragraph itself, my dear friends, which is given, you can directly hint that a lot of similar illustrations were already given in the module and in JKSE textbook. Are you getting it? Yes, that we have actually done in the classroom. And from there you should pick up that there can be a case where they will hit a question on import of service, either because of 71C or either because of 71B, either of them. So what you should do is just stop there and directly head towards what? The MCQ question. So let's see, let's check. Let's check the first question. In respect of services imported by Mr. Mandeep, which of the following is a correct statement? Let's try and understand. First, architect services for his business from his friend in London free of cost is considered as a supply. So here basically the options that are given as to whether it's a supply or not. So first, don't look at the options, directly head towards the instance, the case. Are you getting it? Yes, and you decide for yourself that what is the truth. Are you getting it? Yes, don't look out for the options. First you decide whether it's a supply or not, and just directly see where the option is located and select it. So for example, in the first case, if you can see, he's availed services for his business from his friend in London free of cost. What do you mean by that? Free of cost, that means it's a clear case that it's not a case of 71B, but it's a case of 71C. Now try and recollect what are the conditions covered in a 71C in case of import of service. So first, if there is import of service, second, without consideration, from a related person or a distinct person, in the course or furtherance of business. So all these 4 conditions, my dear friends, should be satisfied. So here, Is he importing service? Yes, because supplier for you is outside India, recipient is in India. Okay. Second is, my dear friends, tell me one thing, very simple. Is it involving consideration? No, it's free of cost, so that makes it a case of 7(1)(c) also. Third, is it from a related person or a distinct person? Tell me. No. A friend does not recognize itself in the definition of what? Relative. Distinct person mein to he will not come only. Are you getting it? Yes. And the next part is, my dear friends, very simple. For his business, that is in the course or furtherance of business. So that condition is satisfied. But the condition of related person and distinct person is not satisfied. So in this case, my dear friends, obviously, okay, it will not be a deemed supply under 7(1)(c). Obviously, there is no chance that it's a supply under 7(1)(b), because obviously there is absence of consideration. So 7(1)(b) to ho hi nahi sakta. But my dear friends, when I come to 7(1)(c), are you getting it? Yes. In that case, remember one thing, that the only condition it's not actually able to satisfy is that of okay, a related person or a distinct person. So here, just because it is not able to satisfy that, very simple, it is not a classic case of 7(1)(c). So it's outside the purview of 7(1)(c) and 7(1)(b), so it's not a supply altogether. Second, my dear friends, he also availed designing services from his brother in London for 5 lakhs for his personal purpose. Is there import of service? Yes. Is there a consideration involved? Yes. Okay. And is it in the course or not in the course or furtherance of business? It is not in the course or furtherance of business. Does not matter. It satisfies all the conditions of 7(1)(b), my dear friends. Are you getting it? Yes, because there is import of service, because he is importing all the way from London. Yes. Second is, he is importing, okay, for a consideration that is 5 lakh rupees. And the third is, surely it is not in the course or furtherance of business, because it is for importer's house, that is for personal purpose of the importer. So in this case, even though it is not in the course of furtherance of business, still it's a part of 7(1)(b), and which is why, my dear friends, it is a supply. So yes, in case of the friend it is not a supply, but in case of the brother it is surely a supply. Okay. Yes, and it is a supply under 7(1)(b). So yeah, which is the obviously which is the relevant choice? Tell me. Absolutely right, my dear friends. Okay, in this case, if you can see clearly, architect service for his business from his friend in London free of cost is not considered as a supply. Absolutely. Designing service from his brother for his personal is no. Okay, fourth is not the right case. What about second one? Designing service from his brother in London for 5 lakh for his personal is considered as a supply. Absolutely right. So second and third, my dear friends, are a classic case of what? Okay, our classic case of that option that we are actually choosing, second and third. So that happens to be absolutely right, the C option. Are you getting it? Yes. Now let's check out the time of supply. Time of supply received by him and the taxable under reverse charge mechanism. Okay, so you know the case, my dear friends. In this case, you very well know, my dear friends, in this case, that as per this is a classic case of 13 subsection 3, where the time of supply is basically what? Tell me. Date of payment, which is basically nothing but what? What is date of payment, my dear friends? Date of payment is nothing but what? Date of or date of payment entry of recipient, or 61st day from DOI, whichever is earlier. Are you getting it? Yes. So in this case, my dear friends, if you can see date of debit in the bank account, do we have that date? Let's check. Yes, we do have it. Date, payment date as per his books of accounts and as per his bank account. So as per his bank account, the date is 18/11. as per his books of accounts it's 1511. 61st day from DOI. DOI क्या है? DOI is 19. So 19 से let's count 61 days. So obviously in September there are 29 days left. October there are 31 days left. So what is the tally here? First do that. 60. Perfect. So that's 1st November, that is the 61st day. 1st November is the last date, right? So that's 1st November. So which is the earlier date? 1st November. Yes, absolutely right, my dear friends. And that is the answer. 1st November. That happens to be the 61st day. Quite easy actually. Okay, what is the aggregate turnover of Mr. Mandeep for the given financial year, my dear friends? Let's check. So the taxable supplies actually happen to be 55 lakhs. The exempt supplies happen to be 16 lakhs, which you also include in the aggregate turnover because these are all outward supplies. Inward supply, no, this is a big no. You will never include this. So 55 plus 16 makes it to 71, my dear friends. Yes, and yeah, we can say that 71 lakhs is actually the aggregate turnover. Okay, so obviously that means he must have taken the registration, right? Yeah, so 55 plus 16 is 71 lakhs. So do we have the option there? Do we have the option? Yes, we do have. Next question, my dear friends. And on the contrary, what is the exemption limit for Assam? I am asking you that as an additional question. 20 lakhs. Do remember that. Second, Mr. Mandeep will be eligible for composition scheme in the next financial year, but he can also supply services up to how much? Tell me. Absolutely right. If you remember, we had this conversation already in section 10 of composition scheme, where a person who's supplying goods, okay, because he is into building materials, if you remember, so he's majorly into building materials, so he is a trader there, right? He wants to opt for composition scheme, but he even wants to give services in the current financial year. So for that, what is the quota? Very simple, 10% of the preceding financial year or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. Are you getting it? Yes. So 10% of the preceding financial year, my dear friends, happens to be 71 lakhs, because that's what the data is actually reflecting, or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. So that makes it to 7.1 lakhs. Let's see. So up till this amount, okay, he can actually give services in the next financial year when he actually opts for composition scheme. Yeah, we have that option. That's D. Next is in case he supplies services to state government by the way of an activity in relation to any function entrusted to a municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution in the next financial year, which of the following will be exempt? So here, my dear friends, you have 3 cases, right? Pure services, composite supply of goods and services, where the supply of goods is not more than 25%, and the same but where the supply of service is not more than 25%. Remember, my dear friends, in this case the exemption is given only for 2 cases. One is where you are providing pure services, where your own pure services means that you are providing only service. Okay, this is actually a given exemption under entry number 3, and a recent entry has been introduced, that is entry number 3A, which talks about that if you are also giving composite supply, it's okay, but make sure that the service component is actually dominant. That means that the goods portion should not exceed more than 25% of the value of the said composite supply. So which is why option 1 and option 2 actually, my dear friends, is option 1, as in 1 and 2 actually is the services that he can provide which are exempt. So which is that option, my dear friends? Tell me. Absolutely right, the D1. Okay, yeah. Now next is, my dear friends, question number 2. ABC Limited is a registered pharmaceutical company. The company invented one drug for instant cure of cancer. They supplied free samples of this medicine to various doctors. What will be the tax implication of these free samples under GST? Listen, my dear friends, 17 subsection 5 clearly says what? That you cannot avail ITC of what? Free samples. So if you are purchasing goods, you've paid GST on that as an input tax, and you're supplying that for what? Free of cost. You will not get ITC. ITC is blocked there. Are you getting it? Yes. And so that talks about the inward supply. So you're not getting the ITC here. And secondly, when you are supplying it, when I'm talking about the outward supply, what about the GST implication in that case? Simple, I will not charge any output tax here also, because this is also not a supply. Okay, because it does not fall under 7(1)(a), B, C. Because the classic case where I have given goods but I have not charged any consideration. So obviously it will not fall under 7(1)(a). 7(1)(b) is it's outside the purview of 7(1)(b), because that talks about import and not supply by the way of outward supply. It is not even a case of 7(1)(c), because though here there is a permanent transfer, but you have not availed ITC. Are you getting it? Yes. So in case of inward supply, you cannot avail ITC. In case of outward supply, it's not something which can be covered under 7(1)(a), B or C. So yeah, which is their option? Is ABC liable to pay tax on supply of free samples and eligible to claim ITC? Absolutely no. ABC is not liable to pay tax on supply of free samples but eligible to claim ITC. C. ABC is neither liable to pay tax on supply of free samples nor eligible to claim ITC. Yeah, absolutely right. C option makes sense, because it's neither liable to pay tax on supply of free samples and neither it is eligible to claim any ITC. Perfect. Third, my dear friends, Kalaniketan School is an education institution providing preschool education and education up to higher secondary school, that's HSC. Which of the following services are exempt if provided to Kalaniketan School? Now listen, my dear friends, we've already done this very clearly, that let's say for example, if there is any supplier who wants to supply service, but the service is to whom? Preschool से लेके HSC, और यहाँ पे लेट्स से जो सर्विस दिया जा रहा है वो कौन सा? ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ स्टूडेंट फैकल्टी स्टाफ, केटरिंग, सिक्योरिटी, हाउसकीपिंग, okay, and cleaning, you can say that. So all these are exempt. Okay, let's check which are the services given here. Transportation of student faculty staff, yes. Catering service, yes. Cleaning services, yes. So all the three will come, and which is why the option that we will choose is D part. Okay friends, in the next question you will surely require the recent amendment that has taken place in 17 subsection 5 with respect to motor vehicle. Let's revisit that and directly head towards the question. So if you remember, yes, if you purchase a motor vehicle, okay, for transportation of what? Persons. Yes, this is a very important thing, for persons, okay, and where the seating capacity is up to 13 persons. Even if you prove that it is in the course or furtherance of business, 17(5) says that boss, ITC is not allowed. ITC is not allowed. Second case. So what does that mean? What possibilities that actually leave us with? Okay. Are there exceptions? Yes, there are exceptions to this, my dear friends. There are 3 exceptions. One is further supply. So if you are purchasing it, okay, for further supplying as in, for example, you are purchasing it for selling it further, or you are purchasing it for and giving it on rent or on hire. Are you getting it? Yes. Again, you will get the ITC. Even the seating capacity of that is what? Up to 13 passengers. Imparting motor driving skills, yes, absolutely right. So you have actually bought a car, let's say for example, which is a 5-seater, but you are using it for what? Imparting driving skills, you will still get the ITC. And the third is, my dear friends, with respect to transportation of passengers. So if you are running some tour travel agency where you are transporting people from one place to another place and selling tickets, okay, and making money out of that, so in that case also you are doing it for the commercial purpose, legit commercial purpose, and which is why, my dear friends, even this will be considered as what, a relevant reason for purchasing a motor vehicle, and even in this case you will get the ITC because this is also an exception to 17.5. Second, what other possibilities wherein we can still avail the ITC? Yes, what if the motor vehicle has a seating capacity, okay, of more than 13 passengers? ITC मिल जाएगा, just prove that it is used in the course or furtherance of business. What if the motor vehicle is purchased for the transportation of goods? Again you will get the ITC. I hope this is very clear, my dear friends. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay. All you have to prove here is that it is in the course of furtherance of business. So irrespective of whatever the seating capacity is, which should be not more than 2 or 3, does not matter. This is not covered under 17.5 altogether. What is covered under 17.5 is transportation of persons, not goods. Okay. So यहाँ पे भी you will get the ITC. First case, a minibus having seating capacity of 15 persons including driver, used for running on hire. Very simple. So you have purchased a motor vehicle to give it on hire. You purchased a motor vehicle to give it on hire, and the input tax that you paid, that the GST paid, is 15 lakhs. Will you get the ITC of 15 lakhs? Hell yes, because this is a purchase of motor vehicle for further supply of motor vehicle, further supply by the way of hire. Okay. And secondly, to be very frank, okay, that way it not only falls in the exception, but actually forget about exception, it is having a seating capacity of 15%. The argument ends itself. Are you getting it? Yes. So actually, okay, to be very frank, the argument ends itself where you say that it is what, it's a 15% bus which is more than 13. Obviously more than 13 wala case is not covered under what, 17.5. So there is that itself, you conclude what, that it is definitely what, a case where you will get the ITC. But let me give you a case. Let's say for example, this had been 10, even then you would have been eligible to get the ITC, because here you are purchasing it for, okay, running it on hire. Are you getting it? Yes. So here also, my dear friends, you will get the ITC. Okay. But yeah, since it's 15, there is no question of exceptions. Okay, the limit itself has been exceeded of 13, and no questions asked, you will get the ITC, because such case is not covered under 17.5 in the first place. Second, car having seating capacity of 8 people, used for business purpose. Now listen, is it up to 13? Yes. Is it used for any of the 3 purposes? Imparting driving skills, transportation of passenger, further supply? No. Even if it is used in the course of furtherance of business, still government says you will not be eligible to avail the ITC on this. Okay, you have to be either of the 3 businesses to get the ITC if your passenger capacity is up to 13. What about car having seating capacity of 4 persons, used for imparting training? Okay, obviously here you are falling under that exception. So if you purchased a car for teaching how to drive, you will get the ITC. Special purpose vehicle having seating capacity of 2 persons, used for transportation of goods. This is not covered under 17.5 altogether, my dear friends. So obviously it will be used for what? Obviously it's used for what? In the course or furtherance of business, and you will get the ITC of the same. So it's 15 lakhs, it's 50 lakhs, and it's 60 lakhs. So that's 110 plus 15, that's 125. So yes, you will get the ITC to the extent of 125 lakhs. Okay, my dear friends, now the 5th question, let's target that. Okay friends, now in case of Mr. Avishkar, he happens to be a painter and he's registered under GST, okay, in the Delhi, with the Delhi state government. He sent this art for exhibition in Mumbai. At what point time of supply, or what point of time supply is considered to have been made under GST? Very simple actually. So he takes his art or his paintings, to be very precise, from Delhi to Mumbai. Obviously in that case sale hasn't happened, because he is going to showcase it or display it on the exhibition. If any buyers actually come up to the exhibition and find it okay and worth buying, they will buy it, but the sale will happen once the buyer buys it from the exhibition. So all the way from actually Delhi to Mumbai, when the painting is sold, okay, from his gallery to, let's say for example, to this exhibition where it is held in Mumbai, he will actually issue a delivery challan. He will not issue an invoice. He does not even know at that juncture, when he is actually sending it from Delhi, that whom is going to sell it, whether this painting will be sold or not. Even that he does not know. He is just going to showcase it, that's it. So only when that painting reaches Mumbai exhibition and the buyer sees it and buys it, at that juncture it's important that you recognize your sale. That is basically your supply. Are you getting it? Yes, because at that juncture the title transfers, yes, and there is supply of goods for a consideration in the course of furtherance of business, because business even covers vocation. Are you getting it? Yes, and that is what the painters do. Are you getting it? Yes. So yeah, which one is the case? A, when painting is completed? Obviously not. When painting is sent for exhibition? No, not even here. When painting is displayed at the exhibition? No, absolutely not. When painting is purchased by one of the visitors in the exhibition? Absolutely right. Next, which of the following is not covered under Schedule 3? Not covered under Schedule 3. Schedule 3 is basically 7 subsection 2, which talks about cases which are not supply of goods, neither supply of service. So the first case is, my dear friends, director's monthly salary under employment agreement. Director's monthly salary, okay, under an employment agreement. So here the director is an employee. You can say he must be something like an MD or a WTD, because those directors are actually employees. Here whatever salary they are withdrawing, it is actually covered under 7 subsection 2, that is Schedule 3. So no, this is not the option. Setting fees to independent directors for attending AGMs. Now this is actually not covered, my dear friends, under Schedule 3. And to substantiate my claim, I will give you one more argument. And why is that? Because if you will see that independent directors do not withdraw salary, they don't have an employment agreement, they are independent, which is why they are independent, right? And which is why, let me tell you, my dear friends, when you refer 9 subsection 3, the director that they are actually referring is not the one who is under employment agreement, but who is an independent director, who is providing consultancy service and who is in turn getting setting fees, and which is why RCM will get triggered and company will pay tax. Are you getting it? Yes. And which is why, my dear friends, it's the second case which I can safely say that is not covered under Schedule 3. It's outside the purview, and since it's outside the purview, it is a supply, and since it is a supply, I even further go to decide who will pay tax and the charge is on whom. Are you getting it? Yes. Is it on the supplier, or is it on the recipient? Is it on the director, or is it on the company? The answer is it's on the company. Are you getting it? Yes. So yeah, second is the answer. That is one of the answers. Let me just check the C part. Payment to an employee for providing broking service to employer for purchase of commercial property. Such service do not form part of the employment contract entered into by employer with employees. Even this will come, my dear friends, to be very precise, outside the purview of Schedule 3. Why? Because this is also a service, because it's outside the employment contract. So any kind of remuneration that he is withdrawing during the course of employment, like salary, bonus, pension, okay, premature termination ka compensation, that is outside the purview of GST, because that is covered under Schedule 3. But this is not covered under Schedule 3. This is some ancillary service that he is giving outside the purview of his employment. So yes, B and C is the answer, my dear friends. B and C. So this is the right option. Are you getting it? Yes. Seventh part. Question number 7. Which of the following services is not exempt? What does that mean? Which is the one that is taxable. Loading and unloading of paddy. Now paddy is an agriculture produce, so it is exempt. Sugarcane, even that is an agriculture produce. Jaggery is not, but sugarcane is. Even this is exempt. Loading and unloading of potato, even this is exempt. But loading and unloading of tea bags, now listen, they have mentioned tea bags. Now this is not an agriculture produce. That's those tea bags which you actually get Vatach wala tea. That's taxable. But had it been that they must have mentioned tea leaves, then surely it was what exempt, because tea leaves is surely an agriculture produce. I hope you understand, my dear friends. So Mr. Vicky Frankie, an unregistered famous author, okay, received rupees 3 crore of consideration from Shiv Bhavan Publications located in Indore for supply of services by the way of temporary transfer of copyright covered under section 13(1)(a) of Copyright Act 1957 relating to original literary works of his new book. He finished his work and made available the book to the publisher, but has not yet raised the invoice. Mr. Frankie is of the view that SBP is liable to pay tax under reverse charge on services, okay, provided by him. SBC does not concur with the view and is not ready to deposit any tax under any circumstances. Examine whether the view of Mr. Vicky is correct. If the view of the Vicky is correct, what is the recourse available with Mr. Vicky to comply with the requirements of GST laws? SBP has completely refused to deposit the tax. Okay, simple है my dear friends. यहाँ पे भी एक्चुअली एक रीसेंट अमेंडमेंट ही आया है, ओके, विच इज़ विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू GST, ओके, एंड दैट इज़ माय डियर फ्रेंड्स दैट 9 subsection 3 actually stated earlier that author when transfers copyright, okay, obviously under section 13(1)(a) of the Copyright Act 1957, to whom? To the publisher. Then in that case, my dear friends, the publisher is supposed to pay tax as per RCM. Okay, end of discussion. And obviously क्या होगा? Simple कि पब्लिशर तो क्या है, रॉयल्टी पे कर ही देगा किसको, ऑथर को, पर पब्लिशर साथ साथ में GST भी पे कर देगा किसको, ऑब्वियसली माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, गवर्नमेंट को. केस ये है दैट सबसे पहले तो इस केस में क्या मिस्टर विकी सही है? एब्सोल्युटली राइट, मिस्टर विकी सही है कि टैक्स एक्चुअली क्या है, SPP पब्लिशर्स को ही पे करना चाहिए. बट अभी SP पब्लिशर्स जो है वो तो नाम ही नहीं ले रहा टैक्स पे करने का, तो क्या कोई रिकोर्स अवेलेबल है, यानी कोई सोल्यूशन अवेलेबल है कि नहीं विकी के पास? तो आंसर इज़ यस. विकी क्या कर सकता है? सबसे पहले तो वो अनरजिस्टर्ड है, तो पहले वो रजिस्टर करवा दे अपने आप को, ओके, अंडर CGST एक्ट. सेकेंडली उसको क्या है, एक प्रिस्क्राइब्ड फॉर्म आता है एनेक्स्टर 1 करके, ओके, उसमें उसको डिटेल सबमिट करनी पड़ेगी दैट बॉस ही वांट्स टू ऑप्ट टू पे टैक्स एज पर फॉरवर्ड चार्ज मैकेनिज्म. आर यू गेटिंग इट? यस. और ये जो वो क्या है, ये दरखास्त डालेगा फॉरवर्ड चार्ज मैकेनिज्म की, वेदर टैक्स इज पेएबल एज पर व्हाट, फॉरवर्ड चार्ज, एंड दैट इज द सप्लायर विल पे द टैक्स. वो ऑप्शन ही क्या है माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, 1 साल चलेगा. फ्रॉम द डे ही ओके हैज़ व्हाट एक्सरसाइज दिस ऑप्शन, वहाँ से लेके 1 साल तक पक्की बात है माय डियर फ्रेंड्स कि बॉस ये इन्फोर्सिबल होगा और टैक्स हमेशा ऑथर ही पे करेगा, ओके, एज पर FCM. एंड ऑथर का और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है कि ऑथर को क्या है, जब भी वो इनवॉइस भेजेगा किसको, पब्लिशर को, तो याद रखना उसे GST चार्ज करके भेजना पड़ेगा और उसे बाकायदा इनवॉइस के अंदर भी डिटेल देना पड़ेगा कि योर टैक्स इज सर्टेनली पेएबल एज पर FCM. Are you getting it? Yes, that's about it, my dear friends. So I hope the concept is very amply clear and I hope you even understand that इशारा किसकी तरफ है. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले तो डेफिनेटली उसका व्यू करेक्ट है, RCM के तहत SB को ही पे करना चाहिए. बट सेकेंड इज़ कि अगर ये नाम ही नहीं ले रहा है टैक्स पे करने का, तो ठीक है, उस केस में ऑथर ही क्या है, टैक्स पे कर देगा गवर्नमेंट को, वंस ही डेफिनेटली चूजेस टू ऑप्ट फॉर अ केस वे टैक्स शैल बी पेड एज पर FCM. पर एक बार चूज़ कर लिया तो 1 साल से द डेट ऑफ एक्सरसाइजिंग ऑप्शन 1 साल तक वो क्या एनफोर्सेबल ही रहेगा, बीच में से वो विड्रॉ नहीं कर सकता. एंड थर्ड केस इज डेफिनेटली उसे इनवॉइस में डिटेल्स देना पड़ेगा. द टैक्स इन दिस केस इज पेबल एज पर FCM सो दैट पब्लिशर डज नॉट लैंड अप पेइंग टैक्स ऑन द सेम. तो ऐसा ना हो कि एक ही ट्रांजैक्शन पे ऑथर भी पे टैक्स कर रहा है और क्या है पब्लिशर भी. तो इसीलिए वो लिखना भी बहुत आवश्यक है. आर यू गेटिंग इट? यस. तो इस तरह से ख़त्म होता है अपना क्वेश्चन 8 माय डियर फ्रेंड्स. परफेक्ट. In case of question 9, my dear friends, Chanchal started providing beauty and grooming services and inaugurated Care and Care Beauty Parlor, and it has actually opted for paying tax under notification 2/2019, which is nothing else but the composition scheme for service providers, my dear friends. Let me just discuss 2-3 things. Firstly, the limit here is 50 lakhs. Yes. So in preceding financial year, if your turnover does not exceed 50 lakhs, in current financial year you can still opt for composition scheme, but only up to 50 lakhs. Beyond that you will start paying tax as per normal scheme. So up to 50 lakhs composition scheme, but after that you will start paying tax as per normal scheme. Okay, so yeah, let's check. Okay, so this happens to be, my dear friends, remember he inaugurated on 1st April, so this is the first year, right? And the first year every person is a small taxpayer, so obviously he will enjoy the exemption up to 20 lakhs. Then he will start paying tax. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay, after the 20 lakhs. Okay, so if you will have a concept in mind and then you will go to the question, it will be really nice. So let's say on 1st April, okay, on 1st April it commences its business. Now up till let's say XYZ date, I don't know what the date is, but 20 lakhs no tax. Then from that date to this date, whatever the turnover is, okay, so up to first 20 lakhs it will be exempt. From 20 up to 50 lakhs, from 20 actually that means that is 21 lakhs to 50 lakhs, ये जो journey है, composition scheme 6% GST rate, 3% CGST, 3% SGST, right? And beyond that, again beyond that also if it goes, beyond 50 lakhs also if it goes, so beyond 50 start paying taxes for normal scheme, that is 18%. I hope this is clear. Okay, so yeah, let's check. So let's say for example the aggregate turnover for quarter ending June was 20 lakhs, absolutely right. Then for the half year ending, that is up till 30th September, it reached to 50 lakhs. Then it recorded a rapid growth and the turnover reached 70 lakhs by October. Lo kar lo baat. What does that mean, my dear friends? What does that mean? Let's say for example from 1st April to 30th June, first 20 lakhs, this is exempt. From 1st June to 30th September, that is the second quarter, it recorded 50 lakhs. Okay, so cumulative 50 lakhs, that means 30 lakhs was added. Okay, from June to, I'll just say 30 lakhs was added from June to September, but cumulatively it was 50 lakhs. So remember here, obviously since 20 lakhs has been exceeded, you will start paying tax. Since you have taken composition scheme, you will go for 6% rate. So 30 lakhs pay, but 20 lakhs is exemption, you will not levy any GST, pay 6%. And beyond 50 lakhs, now listen, 50 lakhs I am counting from here, from 1st April. Are you getting it? Yes. So while paying tax, remember the first supplies actually happen from 20 lakhs up to 50. But when it is supposed to count the 50 lakh limit, that you have to count from day one. Yes, that you have to count from day one. So even the exempt supplies will come into picture, right? So the one which has happened from 1st October to 31st October, which is nothing else but 60 lakhs actually. I'm not sure what's it. Let me just see. It recorded a rapid growth and the turnover reached 70 lakhs. So that's an addition of 20 lakhs, right? So 20 lakhs. So this 20 lakhs will be subject to 18%. So the tax liability will be 30 lakhs as per composition scheme, that is 1.8 lakhs, and 20 lakhs as per normal scheme, that is nothing else but 3.6 lakhs. So that's the summation. So whatever the summation is, 5.4 lakhs, that will be the tax payable in cash. Are you getting it? Yes, because there is no information of credit. Are you getting it? Yes. So I hope this is very clear. Second question, Care and Care Beauty Center wishes to opt for composition scheme from the next financial year. You are required to advise if it can do so. Can it do so even in the next financial year? Okay, what do you think? Answer is no, because in the current financial year, which will be the preceding financial year for the next financial year. Okay, so if they are asking me for the next financial year, I will have to look at the current financial year, and what is that? 70 lakhs. And since he is a service provider, it cannot opt for composition scheme again because the limit has exceeded 50 lakhs. So from day one only, it has to start paying taxes per normal scheme. Perfect. That's about it. Okay friends, now this is a very good question, I must say, and it can be expected in the exam if they really want to set some really tough paper, because fundamentally it's a little far away from what we have actually discussed in the class, but still it is a very relevant question. Are you getting it? I remember such kind of question was asked in service tax. They've actually picked it from there. Yes, I really remember the practice manual had this kind of a question. So now, what is it? Okay, so I'll just explain the situation. So Mr. Raman Goel, he is basically a big deity of some god, okay, which has its temple located in Berry, that's Haryana. So what happens is that Berry, the temple itself is running under 12AA of Income Tax Act 1961, and they've got this amazing faith in it. Okay, now what has happened here is that Aman, being an entrepreneur, okay, just because he recently had given some birth to a first child, तो कुछ मन्नत वन्नत पूरी होगी. So now what has happened is that he has given donation to this temple, right? Okay, for the construction of the sitting hall in the temple. Okay, they have donated some 10 lakh rupees. So basically there's a donor, there's a donee. Donor is Mr. Aman, donee is the temple. So money is flowing from Aman to the temple, and what the temple did was wrote his name, okay, on the nameplate, okay, which said donated by Mr. Mohan upon birth of his first child, okay, in the main door of the sitting hall. So the temple has actually given what has written the name of the donor, and the donor is actually given 10 lakhs. Now the question is that what will be the leviability of GST in this case? Will there be a leviability of GST in this case? Firstly, it's a very important question that whether this is a supply or not on the first place, right? Because for supply it's very important that there is an activity for a consideration. Are you getting? You're supplying goods or services for a consideration, okay, in the course or furtherance of business. So primarily there should be supply of goods or services, and there should be what? Flow of consideration. Only then 7 money will get triggered. So there is obviously 10 lakh rupees that is flowing from Aman's end, but now the question is the charitable trust giving any goods or service to Aman? So if you think deeply, you will realize that here Aman did not have any condition that, listen, if I am giving you 10 lakh rupees, you have to write my name. So in a way, Aman did not expect any quid pro quo. Quid pro quo, it's a Latin dictum which says that something in return. So he is not expecting anything in return. This is out of absolute gratitude that the donor the donee has actually written the name of the donor on the wall, and there was no condition imposed, okay, if I give you the donation you will have to write my name, because that would have literally indulged, okay, into advertisement service, which in relation to what you have given the donation, that would have been a service, and their GST would have surely applied, because from one end advertisement service is being given and the other end money is flowing. So on those lines, my dear friends, okay, I like to discuss that since here there is lack of quid pro quo, okay, which is why there is only consideration flowing from one end, there is no goods or service that is provided from the other end, and which is why 7(1)(a) will not trigger, because for 7(1)(a) there should be all forms of supply of goods or services made or agreed to be made for a consideration. So here you can't even say that you are getting a consideration for, because for getting a consideration there is an expectation of what, that the supplier will provide you goods or service. So this is just a capital amount, you can just say some amount that is actually flowing from. So there is actually no activity but consideration, it's a classic case of that. So there is no activity in terms of supply of goods or service, but there is involvement of consideration, and that is not what 7(1)(a) requires. For 7(1)(a) there should be an activity, there should be a consideration, but your activity is lacking, and which is why it's just a mere donation that has happened, and there is absolutely no implication of GST, my dear friends, that will occur here whatsoever. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay friends, now it's question number 11, 11A and B. Let's see what it is. Before I just go there, there's something I would like to know, I'd like to tell you all, in fact, in relation to hotel accommodation service. Yes. So in case of hotel accommodation service, my dear friends, there is an exemption which says that if the hotel charges less than 1000 per day or equivalent, right, then exemption shall apply. Now listen, many a times these people actually, many students get confused as to कि सर यहाँ पे less than लिखा है, okay, here less than is written and here equivalent is written, then which one to follow, what is the monetary limit finally, and what will happen in case 1000 rupees rent is charged. Are you getting it? So the answer to this is very simple, focus on this, this is less than 1000. So here try and understand that they are hinting towards the fare, that is 99 or less than 99 exempt, 99 के ऊपर it is taxable. Sir, then why is this equivalent written? This equivalent is not in relation to 1000 rupees, it is in relation to the day, my dear friends. Sir, how? Please explain. Very simple. So there is a concept of check-in and check-out, okay, in hotels. So for example, if let's say recently I went to Raipur, so I landed, okay, at 6 AM in the morning. Now the check-in time is actually 12 in the noon, 12 PM. So now I had a bag with me, I was really tired because I had 2 flights to change, because it's a village, so there is no direct transport. So now I was really tired, I really wanted to fall asleep because from 1 PM I had a lecture. So I directly checked in the hotel, but listen, the check-in time was what, 12 noon. And the checkout time was also 12 noon. Are you getting it? Yes. So now what happens is, if I check in before 12, so I checked in here, I have to check out this date, this time. Are you getting it? Yes, I have to check out. So for 6 hours they are actually charging me, let's say 2000 rupees. So I have actually spent 6 hours, but they are charging me a fare which is equivalent to 24 hours. Are you getting it? Yes, which is equivalent to 24 hours. So if you know, if the checkout time is 12 in the noon, the check-in checkout time basically, then in that case if I check in at 6 AM and let's say if I check out at 6 PM, so even though here in actual I have only spent 12 hours in the hotel, I will be charged for 2 days. One is up till this and one is up till this, because 12 p.m. is the checkout time. That means you have to check out. Even if you like enter at 11 a.m., you have to check out. You will be charged for 1 hour also, equivalent to 1 day. So for that is equivalent, right? So there I have spent, let's say for example, in that case, in my example, from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. I have spent only 6 hours, but this will be equal to 1 day. I hope you understand. So please focus on less than 1000, my dear friends, and on those lines please try and understand that it is considered as exemption. So if it's 999 and less than that, it's exempt. If it is more than that, it is taxable. So 999 exempt, 700 exempt, 1000 taxable, because the limit is below 1000. So here, holiday guest house situated at Shimla provides boarding and lodging service to tourists at economical cost. Okay, charges of one deluxe room per day is 999. Mr. X has booked a deluxe room for 2 days. You are required to determine the GST payable by holiday guest house on the above booking if he has determined the amount of GST so payable. Answer is obviously it is exempt. Okay, because it is 999 per day. It's less than 1000, exempt. Both the cases it's exempt, right? But will your answer change if you get it to 1000? Hell yes. And the entire amount will be taxable, not 1 rupee. The entire amount will be taxable. Are you getting it? Yes. Because the limit is below 1000. Are you getting it? Yes. So if it's 1000, it's exceeding the limit, exemption will not apply. Mr. B, Damodar provides services by the way of storage of seasonal fruits and vegetables in Bhatinda. Okay, the monthly rent for go down is 15,000. So here there is storage service being provided on vegetables, which is nothing else but an agriculture produce, right? In this case also it will be exempt, because loading, unloading, storage, warehousing and packing of agriculture produce is exempt. Okay friends, तो अभी हम लोग करने वाले RTP में क्वेश्चन नंबर 12. सियाराम है इनका नाम, क्या बात है. Okay, let's go for it. Mrs. Siaram is a trader of decorative items in horse cars, very happening place in Delhi. His aggregate turnover exceeded 20 lakhs in the month of October. He applied for registration on GST portal but missed to submit the details of his bank account. His tax consultant advised him that the prior submission of bank details is mandatory to obtain registration. Examine whether the advice of Mr. Siaram's consultant is correct or not. तो उसका कंसल्टेंट बोल रहा है भैया आपको सबमिट करना पड़ेगा बैंक डिटेल्स प्रायर टू ओके द सबमिशन ऑफ बैंक डिटेल्स इज़ मैंडेटरी टू ऑब्टेन रजिस्ट्रेशन. तो रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑब्टेन करने के लिए आपको पहले से ही बैंक डिटेल देना ज़रूरी है. ऐसा क्या है? तो आज माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, आपने अगर मेरा अमेंडमेंट लेक्चर ऑलरेडी देख लिया होगा तो वहाँ पे आपको पता चल गया होगा कि ऐसा नहीं है. अमेंडमेंट के बाद माय डियर फ्रेंड्स अभी बात कुछ ऐसी छिड़ चुकी है कि आज आप अगर लायबल हो जाते हैं रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए तो यू कैन सबमिट योर बैंक डिटेल्स ओके even after what? Even after the grant of registration certificate. तो how many days? तो डेट ऑफ ग्रांट ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन सर्टिफिकेट के 45 डेज के अंदर ओके और क्या है 39 सबसेक्शन 1 दैट इज 20th ऑफ द नेक्स्ट मंथ विच एवर इज अर्लियर, राइट. तो ये है. तो डेट ऑफ ग्रांट ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन के 45 डेज के अंदर या फिर क्या है आपने जिस महीने में सप्लाईज किया उसका जो रिटर्न आप फाइल करेंगे अगले महीने की 20 तारीख को वो विच एवर इज अर्लियर. ओके, तो जो भी क्या है अर्लियर डेट है वो ले लीजिए. उसके पहले आप क्या बैंक का डिटेल्स क्या है वगैरह आप दे दीजिएगा ओके डिपार्टमेंट को एंड दैट्स अबाउट इट. अभी क्या है ज़रूरी नहीं कि एप्लीकेशन करते वक्त ही बैंक डिटेल्स आप दे. सो दैट्स एन अमेंडमेंट दैट दे हैव एक्चुअली आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू and that is where it ends. but याद रखना क्या TDS डिडक्टर है, TCS कलेक्टर है, उसको ये एप्लीकेबल नहीं, उसको पहले ही देना पड़ेगा. और जिसने सुओ मोटो रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया है यानी कि डेफिनेटली वॉलंटरी रजिस्ट्रेशन की बात हो रही है, तो आज वहाँ पे भी आपको बैंक डिटेल्स अप्लाई करते वक्त ही देना पड़ेगा। आर यू गेटिंग इट? यस, ये उनके एक्सेप्शंस है। परफेक्ट, यस, दैट्स अबाउट इट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू क्वेश्चन 12। ओके फ्रेंड्स, यस। ओके फ्रेंड्स, अभी नेक्स्ट है क्वेश्चन नंबर 13। मिस्टर गौरी शिवा, अ रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन इन पंजाब, सप्लाइज गुड्स टैक्सेबल एट द रेट 12% in states of Punjab and Haryana. He has furnished the following details in relation to independent supplies made by him, okay, in quarter ending June, जो भी है। ओके, तो उसने सप्लाईज किया है, ओके, और वो उसका क्या है, किसको किया है, रिसिपेंट का दिया है, नेचर ऑफ सप्लाई दिया है, वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई दिया है, राइट। एंड फिर क्या माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, फिर है द एग्रीगेट एनुअल टर्नओवर ऑफ मिस्टर गौरी शिवा इन द प्रीसीडिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर वाज 1.2 करोड़। तो लास्ट ईयर उसका था 1.2 crores turnover with reference to Rule 59 of CGST Rules 2007 discuss the manner in which details of above supplies are required to be furnished in GSTR 1। तो अभी टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक, ओके, आपको सिर्फ यहाँ पे यही लिखना है दोस्त, ठीक है, कि अभी आप B2B में डालेंगे, B2C में डालेंगे, यानी कि बेसिकली आप इनवॉइस वाइज डिटेल डालेंगे, कंसोलिडेटेड वाइज डिटेल, राइट। तो एक्चुअली मैं यही सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ, ओके, लेट्स डू इट। तो आज देखिए, इफ़ यू रिमेंबर, जस्ट ट्राई एंड रिकैप्चुलेट, ओके, कि आज अगर क्या है, आज माय डियर फ्रेंड्स एक होता है क्या, B2B सप्लाईज यानी रजिस्टर्ड टू रजिस्टर्ड, और अपना B2C सप्लाईज यानी रजिस्टर्ड टू अनरजिस्टर्ड। एक होता है इंट्रा, एक होता है इंटर, एक होता है इंट्रा, एक होता है इंटर। दूसरा क्या है माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, B2B में हमेशा क्या है, इनवॉइस वाइज डिटेल्स, एंड B2C में माय डियर फ्रेंड्स इंट्रा स्टेट सप्लाई में इशू सिर्फ यही आ रहा है क्या, कि बॉस अगर बात है ऐसी जो समझने जैसी, ओके, तो इस केस में हमेशा आएगा कंसोलिडेटेड डिटेल, और इंटर के केस में क्या है, if it is up to 2.5 lakhs, it is greater than 2.5 lakhs। if it is up to 2.5 lakhs तो डेफिनेटली यहाँ पे सीन क्या है माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, कि ये कंसोलिडेटेड डिटेल्स पर स्टेट वाइज, और यहाँ पे इनवॉइस वाइज डिटेल। आर यू गेटिंग इट? यस। तो B2B में हमेशा इनवॉइस वाइज, B2C में इंट्रा, कंसोलिडेटेड, इंटर, अप टू 2.5 lakhs स्टेट वाइज, मोर देन 2.5 lakhs इनवॉइस वाइज, ये याद रखिएगा, ठीक है। चलिए, उसी को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए लेट्स गो अहेड एंड स्टार्ट विथ द सम। मिस्टर ए, अ रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, वो कौन है, इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई है, ओके, वैल्यू कितना 2.2। तो याद रखिए, रिसीपेंट अगर रजिस्टर्ड है तो पक्का इनवॉइस वाइज डिटेल, ठीक है। मिस्टर बी अगेन रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है, इनवॉइस वाइज डिटेल्स, ओके। मिस्टर सी एक अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है, इंट्रा है, यस, तो ये कंसोलिडेटेड डिटेल्स, कंसोलिडेटेड डिटेल्स। मिस्टर डी अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है, इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई 2.6 lakhs, तो इस केस में क्या हो जाएगा माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, वेरी सिंपल, अगेन कंसोलिडेटेड डिटेल। मिस्टर एम अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है, इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई 3 लाख। अभी देखिए यहाँ पे कैच है कि यहाँ पे ओके, रिसीपेंट कौन है, पहले तो अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, परफेक्ट, तो ये B2C का केस है, राइट। उसमें भी ये क्या है, इंटर है, इंटर में भी क्या है, मोर देन 2.5 lakhs, तो डेफिनेटली ये जाएगा इनवॉइस वाइज डिटेल्स। अच्छा, रिसीपेंट एन है, अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई 50,000, कंसोलिडेटेड डिटेल। मिस्टर ओ अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है, इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई 2.5 lakhs, यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा, क्या हो जाएगा, बताइए माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, क्या आ जाएगा, मिस्टर ओ एन अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई 2.5 lakhs, सिंपल, अप टू 2.5 lakhs है, इसीलिए कंसोलिडेटेड डिटेल। मिस्टर पी अगेन अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई 2.8 lakhs, इनवॉइस वाइज डिटेल्स, मोर देन, इंटर है, अनरजिस्टर्ड है, और क्या 2.5 lakhs से ज़्यादा। registered, invoice was detail, that's it. बस इतना ही क्या expected है आपसे, that's it. Okay, yes. और ऑब्वियसली अगर लास्ट ईयर उसका टर्नओवर क्या है 1.2 करोड़, तो सिंपल सी बात है GST R1 वो क्वार्टरली बेसिस पे भर सकता है. आर यू गेटिंग इट? यस, दैट्स अबाउट इट. ओके, perfect, that's about it with respect to question number 13. Okay friends, now let's head towards question 14, which is basically on e-way bill. Tell me, once the e-way bill is generated, can it be cancelled? Yes, it can be cancelled within 24 hours of its generation, but there is an exception to it, my dear friends, that within those 20 hours, let's say for example if your goods were in transit and the verification happens, right, by the obviously proper officer or the relevant authority, then in that case you cannot cancel it. Okay, once the verification has taken place, you have to make sure that you adhere to it and you don't cancel it. So if you want to cancel it in that way within 24 hours of its generation, it's allowed, but if your goods are getting checked or verified in transit, you are not allowed henceforth. Second is e-way bill generated in one state is valid in another state. Obviously if e-way bill is generated in one state, it is valid in another state, right? And yeah, every states can have their respective limits. Okay, in case of intra-state supply, there is a limit with respect to different states, which is obviously dependent on their respective GST Act. But yeah, obviously the e-way bill which is generated in one state will be valid in the another state. Are you getting it? Yes, more probably because if there is an interstate supply, let's say, so in that case obviously the e-way bills have been formed under a CGST Act. Okay, and in that case, yes, absolutely it will be, my dear friends, valid in other state also. There is no second thought about it. Okay friends, question 15 is in relation to discharging of tax liabilities. So for that you will have to remember the chapter that I taught you all in e-ledger. Are you getting it? Yes. So if you remember, in case of e-ledger, my dear friends, there were three types of ledgers. Yes, e-liability, e-credit and e-cash. So here, since the order is required to be understood as to in which order liability is discharged, you will have to focus on e-liability. And in that case, if you remember, I had taught you all that in case of e-liability, you will first always discharge self-assessed tax, interest, penalty, late fees in relation to previous tax period. Second, what you will discharge is self-assessed tax, interest, penalty, late fee in relation to current tax period. And the third is reassessed tax dues and other dues under section 73 and 74. So this has to be the chronology that has to be followed. First is previous tax period, that is current tax period, and then is reassessed tax dues of previous and current tax period. Are you getting it? Which is demanded by proper officer, none other than under section 73 and 74. So keeping that aside, keeping the third part aside, first it's important that you understand that, let's say for example, if April ka tax liability obviously has to be discharged on 20th May, considering he is a normal taxpayer, and he did not do on 20th May, okay, then May ka abhi aayega 20th June. So here on 20th June, if he wants to pay May ka liability, he cannot do that. First he has to pay April ka liability, let's say for example it's 6 lakhs, and then May ka liability, that's for example 10 lakhs. Are you getting it? Yes. So that's how the chronology will be. Okay, he cannot directly settle the liabilities of May. He has to first pay the tax of April, then May. I hope this makes sense. Are you getting it? Yes. So let's check the question. Mr. Ram Narayan, a registered supplier under GST, wants to discharge his self-assessed tax liability for current period before settling the dues for previous tax period. This cannot happen, my dear friends, because to be very frank, from the practical aspect, the current tax period tab will not open only if he is not settling the dues of the previous tax period. So the answer is it cannot happen. Obviously, first he has to settle the dues of previous tax period, and only then he'll be able to settle the dues of current tax period. That's it, my dear friends. Okay, so here we finish off the entire RTP discussion with respect to May 20 attempt. I hope, my dear friends, that the entire discussion made sense to you and you have drawn some important conclusions out of it. I really wish you all the best and kill it this time. Ab ki baar, aakhri baar. Are you getting it? Yes, that should be the motto. And if there's any query, please, okay, feel free to ask in the comment section, and I'll surely make sure that we reply it ASAP. Are you getting it? Yes. So that's about it, my dear friends, from my end. All the very best.